Hello, everyone. I'm just setting things up real shortly. We shall begin. All right. Hi, welcome in. Welcome in. My name is Jennifer, and I'm the branch director at Elite Prep Rancho Bernardo down in San Diego. Hello, Nathan and Vanessa. And I will be sharing with you today a few things that, well, one of the offerings that we have in the winter. So traditionally in the winter programs, we have our SAT classes as always, and then we would have something for the non-SAT group students. And so this goes from 5th grade all the way to 10th grade. And I'm here to explain to you what our Elite Prep winter writing camp is all about. And this year we're adding another technological feature called the SAAI, Elite's SAAI, into incorporating this into our program. So let's get started. Let me first start by explaining what is winter writing camp. So I've been getting a lot of these questions, phone calls in my branch, and basically many of you probably were redirected here when you asked that same question. So here it is. Winter writing camp is an 8-day program. And in those 8 days, in the 2 weeks, 4 days a week, the students will learn 4 major essay types: argumentative, expository, literary response, and narrative. Students will also read articles published from major literary or scientific journals to help prompt their writing and just get their creative juices flowing. There will be in-class discussions following those articles, and then some brainstorming prior to writing one of those 4 essays, led by Elite's most experienced English instructors. And then finally, it'll help the students build writing strategies and tips powered by Elite's SAAI program with real-time feedback and guidance by the instructor, obviously, as well as some of the essay tools that are built into the SAAI, as well as their classmates. And I'll explain that to you in a few more minutes. So let me just show you a page of what the articles would look like. It comes from our Elite curriculum. They're articles that contain works or, from literature or articles that were excerpted from literary or scientific journals and magazines. This one specifically was taken from Scientific American. And here are, I wanted to introduce to you our instructors. So Dr. Jessica Hale, who has an MA and PhD in comparative literature from UC Irvine. She's been a senior instructor with us for over 15 years. So she also teaches SAT and ACT reading and writing. She does college consulting or college essay writing workshops, as well as junior book clubs, and has been leading reading camps for years. This year, she will lead the 9th and 10th grade winter writing camp. To the right is Mr. Alexander Hodge Wallace, who is a has a poli-sci BA and is currently a PhD candidate. He has been teaching since 2018. He also teaches SAT reading and writing, college workshops, as well as AP Gov, APUSH, and psychology. He will be leading the 5th and 6th grade, as well as the 7th and 8th grade winter writing camps. So you're in really, really good hands. So I wanted to just briefly pause and say, if you have any questions, you can either type it into the Q&A button. I always forget. Sorry, Jason. One of our panelists, Jason, is handling all the questions in the Q&A. You can put it there or in the chat if you'd like. At the end of the webinar, because I cannot see you and I cannot interact with you, or I won't be looking at the Q&A screen until the end. So if you can put all of your questions down in the Q&A box. Thank you so much. I always forget to say that. And then I would like, our winter writing camps are not in person, as we've all been going through. I mean, I think this is the new normal, virtual learning. Yes, I know many of us are already fed up with it. And even as much as I try to say that it's live, interactive, quality classes, I know we'd much rather be here in person. But just to be safer at this point in time, we will make it as exciting and interactive as possible, as high of a quality as you know we've given you in person. We will give it to you. We will offer online. There is a surprise announcement at the end of, it's not going to be very long, you guys. It's just another maybe 20 minutes where I sort of explain different components of what writing camp should do and what the new program. That's basically what I'm here to explain to everybody, what the program helps our writing camps do. So stay tuned till the end and you'll get a special offer. So Elite's SAAI, what is SAAI? So we all know AI, artificial intelligence. Basically, it's sort of, it has a program that has, it generates or populates sentence starters or framework, and we're utilizing this as a tool to help our instructors. So in other words, our instructors are there. They're not just putting your students on the screen into this program and then suddenly leaving. They will be guiding the students through the program. Now, we could even use this. This is the first time we're launching the program through the writing camp, but we will be having writing camp all the way through. SAA might be used through our book club classes in the future. It might be used in our essay classes or Elite Premier tutoring in future. So why is it that we decided to incorporate this online or this technology? So it helps the teachers during class to make this much more of an interactive tool, so that the teacher doesn't have to be walking around everywhere, but by a few clicks can see the real-time writing of all of his or her students. So if a teacher is occupied writing on some other article or helping another student, there are full resources of tools that students can click through and read on their own and gain or find answers to the questions that they had when the teacher was looking at somebody else's essay or occupied with someone else, instead of waiting for the teacher. So the best learning, second thing is the best learning that I found as a writer, and many of my colleagues have found as a writer, is that when we see other classmates writing, I remember that was helpful for me in college as well as in high school. When I saw how other people were writing and their everybody else's phrase structures or even vocabulary they were using, it was eye-opening for me. And so we utilize this tool so that the students can see and collaborate on each other's essays. So there's opportunity for them to read each other's work as well as give and receive feedback. This program is statistically been proven to help the students to create this type of writing habit on their own. So you'll see what I'm talking about when I move on to the next slides. When I show you some of the things that are actually built into the program, you'll see why the AI is tacked on to the name of the technology, but also that you'll see why it might seem that it's like a crutch, that it might seem something that the students might become dependent of, but it's not. It's been proven to show that after you get a few of these sentence types or structure, that the students learn on their own how to recall some of that memory. And then finally, robust bank of words and sentence types that students can access without reaching for another website or without asking the teacher. Oftentimes I'm in class and the students, it's from everywhere. They'll ask me, what's another word for happy? What's another word for? And so while they're writing, they don't have to access another site. It's all in here. And so here it is. Here's a little sneak peek. I took little screen grabs of what are these sentence starters. And if you'll see that here there are several different words that you could use. You could lift or click these. This is not interactive slideshow. I should have learned how to make it that way. But you can click the up and down arrow and it'll kind of help the students build their sentences. Oftentimes my students are sitting there staring at their screen for about 10 minutes, as long as an hour sometimes, and they have a very hard time even just initiating the essay because they don't know how to begin a hook, or they don't know how to begin just their very own first sentence. So we are providing this tool provides that. So whenever you click up or down, they get an option of the bank of thousands of words that will populate. And then they'll choose that. And then you see how there's a button, insert. Once you click that, it gets inserted into the document. So next, writing frames. Your students' essay will look like this when they're in the editing stage. So those, you see how on the bottom, the closer there, I opened up what it looks like to have those sentence starters. How would I start this conclusion sentence, the conclusion paragraph? So there's a sentence starter built in for each of these. Now, you can see that if there's a hook, or I can create 2 different kinds of hooks and then see which one I like, and then delete one box, but you'll see this frame, right? It helps break down the big and scary essay into easily applicable chunks, okay? When the students are trying to do everything at once, this one you can just do out of order, or even start with the thesis and go back up to the hook, right? And then helps break it up into little pieces. Now, remember, I said all of these things seems like it would be a crutch. Shouldn't be, it makes it so easy for the students to write. This isn't real writing. Actually, we're teaching them how to write these. How many writers write essays sometimes backwards? Starts with the body paragraph and then goes back to the introduction. Many. Nobody starts from the beginning. Well, maybe a few, but starts from the beginning and goes all the way to the end. So in many ways, this order-wise, it makes sense. It doesn't have to be so sequential like that, or even it was at the tip of my head. What was I going to say? Anywho, it gets you to kind of focus on the thesis, or it gets you to focus on the body paragraph. And how do I do that? All that information is there in each of those block areas. And then once you, remember I said that there was built-in tools, these are it. There's a little lifesaver, little raft. We had such a hard time figuring what that is, that ring. Anyway, that tool, you click it and the students can read what is a hook. And then there are a bunch of samples of what actually is a hook, a personal anecdote type of hook, and why does that particular hook work. Okay, so obviously it says there are more than 5 other techniques. This one's hook technique 6, but there are several options that the students can see samples of. This is instantly accessible. If the teacher happens to be working with another student, the student can sit and read through these. You can access these at home, okay? And so this is what, when you're finished with all those boxes, and then you see what the Word doc looks like, this is what it looks like. It populates it into an instant export MLA format. Done for you. Don't have to worry about it. Look at the indenting. So this was a sample essay that we were writing about why lying sometimes helps, or does it? Anyway, writing frames easily converted into this perfectly formatted MLA document. You can even download it into a PDF. The Hive is such a fun feature of SAAI. So here is where the students click on the Hive and we get to interact with each other. So somebody wrote this essay and then John here gave feedback. Very cliche intro, maybe you want to reconsider your hook. The teacher says, hey, pretty relatable, but a little short, add a few sentences. So all of these feedback can be given to one student by either their classmates as well as their teacher, and this is interactive. This can be done real time. So as the student is writing, somebody can see their letters or their words uploading onto the document. And each time something comes up, another student can give feedback right away. So this is what we're so excited about, that we can go in and give feedback, whether welcome or unwelcome, but we can give that feedback. Yes. Oh, sorry about that. Okay. So here I am, moving on to the schedule. And I wanted to make a quick note that on our website, we have the Elite USA set hours for the class. So the set schedule and hours. This may be subject to change per branch depending on demand. Okay, so if your branch suddenly was flooded with writing camp candidates, then we may or may not open several other sections. So this is something that you want to discuss with your branch director. But let me show you what a sample daily schedule looks like. So for those 8 days, you're going over 4 essays, after 4 articles. And on day 1, what does it look like? We have a lecture, which might introduce a narrative essay. What is a narrative essay? How is it formatted? What kind of tone? What kind of languaging we'll be using? So there will be a full lecture about the narrative essay. And then we'll move on to reading an article and then progressing into a discussion so that it kind of gets the students ready to write. Then there'll be plenty of time in class to brainstorm and then do some in-class writing and homework at nighttime. Maybe during the class, you can start the homework, but there'll be definitely, the students can catch up with their writing assignment that night. The very next day, they will continue with that same essay, the same narrative essay in this case, but there will be a lecture focusing on a particular writing strategy or technique. For day 2, it says focusing on hooks, for example. Now, this is something that could be slightly different once Dr. Jessica or Mr. Alex take on their which article or which essay that they're going to do first. I just wanted to show you a general framework of what it looks like. So maybe they practice the hooks after they learn what the 7 different techniques or 7 different types of hooks are, and then they sit and practice their own hooks, giving samples to the teachers and feedback from each other. And then there will be more in-class writing, incorporating that hook into the essay maybe, and then more editing, collaboration time, etc. So these are the dates. So the 2 weeks, a lot of the students at this time will have their holiday break. Week 1 would be 21st to 24th. Week 2 would be 28th through the 31st, Monday through Thursdays. Christmas and New Year's falls on Friday this year. Eligible to grades 5th all the way to 10th grade. So there's a poll coming up. So this is what I announced earlier. Earlier I was announcing that there's something that is to come. So how many of you would like to claim your exclusive $50 winter writing camp discount? So you attended here. There's about 83 of you that are still here. Earlier, there was 87. So those 5 people lost their $50 discount. And here you are right in the poll, and we will follow up with you and send that to you as soon as possible. This is fun. In real time, I can see that out of 80 people, 30 of you voted. So here is where I can, as we're doing, having the polls continue to take in your answers, a question came up. I'm not sure in the Q&A box if somebody wrote that already or answered that already. The winter writing camp cost is $600. Okay, $600. You get a $50 discount for attending today. Do we have writing programs for rising juniors? No, a lot of for rising junior? Do you mean in the summer? Because usually right now they're not rising, the ARA junior or either the ARA sophomore. Anonymous. How long are the homework assignments typically? We just give the students a window of time from maybe 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock at night, and they have to go in and do some writing. They also have class time to do it. So I guess it depends on how productive they were in class, or how much they can get done in the evening. It shouldn't be too much homework. It's just finishing that one writing assignment. That's all we ask, as we're asking each of the students. It won't be large essays either. They shouldn't be any bigger than maybe a page or two, not much bigger than that. So that's it in terms of homework, because all of their assignments are done in class. Adding to the anonymous Maria's question, will there be other instructors to instruct juniors and seniors? Oh, okay. So for juniors and seniors, no, because a lot of the times the juniors and seniors will be enrolled in our, seniors will be writing college essays. So a lot of the times the college essays right now are taking the most of their time. So that's why we didn't offer it for seniors. Juniors are probably taking advantage of our SAT classes. So if there is enough inquiry, and definitely let your branch know for another junior or a senior class, we will make it happen. Just depends. We didn't think that that might be a demand, because usually juniors take the SAT boot camp or ACT boot camp, and then the seniors are busy doing college applications. So the tuition, you guys, was again $600. If you go to eliteprep.com, everybody, which I will put up on the screen right now. If you have any other questions, going to eliteprep.com, there's a landing page directly about this winter writing camp with the tuition and even the class times. So it varies. It starts, the younger kids start at 9 a.m. And then it goes all the way, it's 3 hours. So maybe 9:30 to 12:30, and another class will go from 12:30 to, or 1 to maybe 1 to 3:30, something like that. Okay. Is there an expectation? Good question of how prepared students should be. Beginners welcome. Absolutely. I don't even know how to write one paragraph in an essay. Welcome. Okay. There's no expectation. We meet everybody where they're at. I'm trying to look. Anything else? Maria, did you get that answer? So are there any other questions? If there aren't any questions, you can go ahead and sign off. Thank you so much for making it to the webinar today. See, I told you it was a pretty short webinar. But if you have more questions, you can stay behind and I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, eliteprep.com, www.eliteprep.com, or please contact your local elite branch, particularly those of you who want the juniors and seniors to have a class as well.